All right, take two.
Take 7. Come with me if you want to live. I guess not good morning?
Not good morning.
Bad morning to you, everybody.
Good day to you, everybody.
How's it going, everybody? Today we're out at FT3, our local range that we shoot at as often as we can because they allow so much stuff. They allow so many different types and platforms of firearms as well as calibers. We're out here today testing shotguns. We're doing pump actions, not really a versus, pump action kind of versus semi-autos when it comes to home protection and the benefits and the negatives of both of them. We both have mixed opinions about semi-autos.
But if you're looking for us to argue, I don't know how much arguing there's.
We'll do a little bit.
On this. Maybe a little bit. Not.
We're confrontational, so we'll probably argue.
Much. Yeah, for sure.
We both run pump actions for our homes because they make the most sense. We also run a very similar stack load, but it's because it's logical and they work all the time and they're effective for us. We're going to run semi-autos because there is a big semi-auto market now when it comes to shotguns. When there wasn't a huge market and there wasn't as many shotguns that were super reliable. Now they're coming out with a lot of really cool tactical, like able to clear a room type shotguns that aren't super long, you know. You have your competition ones. We didn't bring any of those out today because it's just not feasible for clearing a room or clearing a house or even home protection in general because they have a lot of issues that they can. So we brought out a couple tactical semi-autos and a couple like super simple pump shotguns as well as this monstrosity that we're going to shoot today.
Cruiser.
Yeah, the little cruiser.
For a pump, it's always going to work. If it doesn't go bang, you rack another round in, go bang. It's the shotgun equivalent of a revolver, right?
100%.
It's always going to work. If it doesn't go bang, that cylinder will rotate, bang again. So that's one of the reasons that I use them is just the reliability of them. Been using them for, 100 years? Long time, right?
Yeah.
And they're just very simple. And I'm very simple when it comes to home defense. I don't want to deal with a failure to feed. I don't want to deal with a stovepipe. I don't want to deal with some semi-auto problem that I don't know how to clear well enough.
I run pump actions for the exact same reasons. I've never had a single pump action not work for me. Granted, I also take care of my guns, so I'm sure there's one instance or 10 instances that make it pump actions don't work.
And mine have worked also.
Yeah, so there's very little that can go wrong with a pump action, which is exactly why I like them so much. They're just like comparing to revolvers. There's very little that can go wrong with a revolver. You can really do whatever you want with these, and you're not going to have an issue with gas systems or weird malfunctions, or you're not going to have double feeds because it's almost impossible unless you have a shitty extractor on your bolt. So there's a lot to think about when it comes to that. We run 2 different setups when it comes to shotguns. He runs a pistol grip as well as a Mossberg rather than a Remington. And I run a typical Magpul rifle stock. There's a lot to think about when you're doing shotguns. Everyone that I know that talks about home defense talks instantly about rifles. They talk instantly about going to their handgun. Rather than thinking about, okay, now that I've made the active decision to go to lethal force, I have to figure out what my round is going to do after it exits my target, right? Or if I hit my target. So with most conventional birdshot and even some buckshot, you're going to stick into drywall because there's not enough velocity to go through unless you're 2 feet away and you're blowing holes and stuff, right? If it's going through a target, if it even makes it through your target, which most birdshot won't, it'll be stuck inside the most fatty tissue, you're really not worrying about where it's going afterwards because it's going to stop. It's going to get stuck somewhere. It's not going to go into your neighbor's house like a 5.56 round wood or a 9mm round through wood. They're like lasers through flesh, lasers through walls. It's exactly why people love them. It's not great because if you end up shooting somebody and then shooting your neighbor's kid, that's your fault. And now you're liable for all of it. So you really got to think about what your choices is going to be for home defense when it comes to what will keep you safe as well as the people that live around you safe.
One point, can I pop in? A different point also, going for birdshot or buckshot, most of your interactions in your home, if you have to exert lethal force, they're not in your humongous 1,000-square-foot living room, right? They're in a hallway, they're in a room, they're in a very confined space. For me, with birdshot or even single lot or maybe even double lot, I can put my wife in the back of the room, I can have her point it at the door, and we have a certain code word for me to enter the room. If that code word is not used, she understands what the blast radius is going to be of that gun, what that spray is going to be, and she can pull the trigger confidently. She doesn't have to worry about cycling issues. She doesn't have to worry about missing with the pistol. She doesn't have to worry about a rifle going through the target and hitting me in the next room if I'm engaging another target or something like that, right? So there's just a lot more you can do, and these big open spaces that people think they're gonna have a firefight in, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like the movie and shit, it's just not going to happen, right? Yeah. You wanna close it down as much as possible. I wanna have less entry points in front of me and none from behind me, and I want everything in front of me. And that spray should take care of it. And if one of them doesn't, you rack another round in and go again. So that's another thing to add to your point 100%. On that.
So there's less to go wrong, and there's less in a stressful environment. You as the person of the house who is the shooter, right, could be ready for those scenarios under that high stress, but you really have to focus on the lowest common denominator, right, when it comes to where you're shooting and how you're protecting your home, because you may not be there to do it, so the person who's the lowest common denominator has to.
So with that in mind, I'll go over my build just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, but like, so mine is chambers clear, just so you know. Mine's very basic. It's a Mossberg 500. I like the Mossberg 500 because I like the top safety here. I'd rather not go to the safety on the Remingtons. It's down here by the trigger guard. This one is very easy for me, and my slide release is close. It's right here. I don't have to use an extra hand like on the Remingtons or my offhand to hit the slide release. That's just my personal opinion. Now, this gun was set up years and years ago, probably 13 years ago. And I haven't messed with it because it's my home defense shotgun. I shoot it to put some rounds through it, and that's about it. It sits there and I need it to work. Very basic. This one does have an adjustable stock on it. Not necessary, but it was there and I didn't feel the need to change it. It does have a pistol grip. Once again, not necessary, but it's there and it's comfortable for me. And once we show you SAMs, the mag pull is easier on your wrist, and it is, let me clear all you guys real quick, it is easier to wield one-handed. The mag pull one is. This one puts a lot of stress on your wrist, and a woman or somebody that has an arm impaired, if something goes wrong, is gonna have a tough time wielding this with one hand. Strike Industries makes their foregrip, and this has M-LOK on it. I haven't put on it. I haven't put anything on this M-LOK yet, right? This shows how untactical I am. I'm not a brand whore. It's not a surefire light. It's just a light that works, and I change the battery once a year on my birthday. That's the easiest way for me to remember. I do run a stack load, but it's only birdshot to buck. So that's a quick little one on my setup. This sits on my side of the bed, and my wife has a Remington just almost like his on her side of the bed, maybe with a tube extension on it. But other than that, this is my very simple setup for my home defense stuff.
So
yours is even simpler.
Yeah, mine's even simpler. It runs a super simple. I think it's a Mesa Tactical, Tacstar shell carrier. It's a Remington 870. It's the most basic model they had, and I just rattle canned it and threw some new furniture on it, and it has worked. This is actually my first ever gun I ever bought. And it's worked every single time. I think I've cleaned it a total of 2 times since I've owned it.
No light?
No light. I don't run lights for this one particular purpose, and I'm sure somebody in the comments section is gonna argue with me on this, and you can feel free because you're wrong. If I'm protecting my home, I know where my light switches are. So I'm gonna turn on a fucking light.
If you need it, or if not.
If I need it. Yeah. Or I'm gonna post this thing up in my room. I'm not gonna go looking for a fight in my home.
Yeah, that's a big
stuff is just stuff. Let them take my stuff. If my immediate family is with me and I can protect them, the things that matter, I don't give a shit about stuff. If you live in California, you understand what I'm talking about. You kill somebody in your home, you're most likely going to jail. No matter what. Unless you can properly explain that they were an immediate threat to your life, you are going to jail. Just going to talk about a couple of the Mossbergs we brought up because I'm not a Mossberg guy. Never has been. Nothing wrong with the product at all. I've just always been a Remington guy, just how it is.
Brand whore.
100%. Even though Mossberg's also a really big brand, so brand whore.
So we have the Beretta 1301. Like I said before, I am not as well versed in semi-auto as Sam is or as other people. It's why I don't use it for home defense. I do have a couple semi-auto shotguns, but they're more for 3-gun or hobbyist stuff, not life defense stuff. This is the 1301. It has a rail just in case you want to mount an optic on it if you're shooting a lot of slug. Has adjustable ghost rings. And let's just see how it shoots. We're shooting, this is single aught, correct? Yeah. This is single aught. So I'm just gonna load one in the chamber here. I'm gonna send it home, and then I'm gonna load one in here, okay? So then we're good to go. Safety is right here next to the trigger, and You can always press check the shotguns. I also press check my shotguns too to make sure that I'm hot, okay? And then we'll just, we'll let it loose. Sorry. You can cut that. Chamber clear. Not so bad. Feels like a semi-auto. I am not a semi-auto guy. Even when you go, I forgot to mention this before, trap or skeet, I like a Beretta Silver Pigeon. I like an over-under, a side-by-side. I don't mind the recoil. The reciprocation of the bolt is something that I don't enjoy when I'm trying to reacquire a target. That's me personally. Everybody is different. Better shooters out there probably don't have a problem reacquiring with a semi. But it wasn't too bad. I mean, it felt like a shotgun, nothing crazy. I try to ride it as far in as I can so I don't take a lot of the brunt to my actual shoulder. Let's walk the target. Once again, we're clear. I mean, you know, I'm at 3 to 5 right there. Did the job just fine. I don't think that person's walking through that. I didn't even really take too much of an aim, to be honest with you. It was more of a point and shoot for me. So it's just, it shot nice.
So I'm gonna run my 870. I think I have a full mag tube right now. I'll probably throw around 3 to 4 rounds downrange. I think that my first round I have right here is gonna be double lot buck, and then the one after that's gonna be single lot. Not usually how I run my loads. I just run birdshot in my house just because if you're gonna come into my house, your chest is gonna be ground beef. It's just kind of how it works. So.
That's like your chest, huh? Yeah. A lot of ground beef there?
A lot of ground beef, a lot of ground beef up there.
Super ground beefy.
So I'll take this round out, so I got a clear chamber, so I got a full mag tube. But as you can tell, it's the same stuff.
It's totally different spread though, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, so this first round here, this first section was your double lot. The remaining little small holes here was gonna be your single lot. It's kind of where it pointed out to. And it's just probably a wad. Thinking of stuff like this, I'm at 8 yards, which is probably the distance that most people have from, you know, their bedroom to most areas in their hallway or wherever. Unless you live in like Orange County, have these huge mansions, which you gotta have sniper rifles for. So at this point, there's nothing on God's green earth that's gonna get back up from that. It's what happens when you mess with shotguns. They're just such a versatile tool, and people talk shit on them because they're worried about recoil, because they're worried about issues, people not being able to shoot them. A shotgun, properly handled, can do so much damage.
Even a 20 gauge.
Yeah.
Even a 20 gauge.
Yeah, 100%.
The other thing is, look at how tight this spread is, right? At 8 yards, so you're talking 24 feet, right? I figure this is why I choose to shoot birdshot, or my wife's gun has birdshot in it. I do not want her to miss. I need her to acquire the target and at least spray in that direction and put some pellets in that target. Like, you could miss.
Yeah.
You could miss.
Yeah.
You pull 12 inches that way, that target's not hit.
Yeah.
So the whole point of this is to put the threat down,
yeah,
or at least deter them enough that they're not moving forward
yeah,
anymore. You know, so
we aren't shooting birdshot today specifically because of the fact that FT3 doesn't allow birdshot, because it spreads so far that it ruins all their machinery. So buck and slug is what we can run here, which is totally fine, not a big deal. I actually have some slugs we'll throw down range a little bit later. And you can kind of see, if you don't know the difference between slugs and buck, it's basically the number of pellets and the size of the pellets. So a slug is literally a 1 ounce piece of lead that just flies out of your barrel and just goes straight to target and does damage on the inside. Birdshot, 90% of the time, it gets stuck in the first layer of skin, so it's not a big deal. But you really do want to use that for a lot of home defense scenarios if you're just looking to make sure people that are coming in your home don't want to leave. So if there's any questions about that, you can always put them in the comments and stuff like that. So let's run to a different shotgun, and I'll probably test out the semi-autos, and we'll have JB shoot his Mossberg, get that going. The optimal way to load a shotgun. Point it at the ground.
So this is my personal Mossberg 500. I did the same load as him. So I did a single buck, right, first, and then the double will be second. I have these ones. These are all birdshot. This is just for my home stuff. Collapse the stock just a little bit. I like to be a little bit more on the gun, shorter arms, things like that. But let's see how this works. Hopefully it won't blow the light off. I don't think it does. Let's just, let's see. So this is the part that people don't like. They like to operate the firearm just like you would most firearms with the safety on and off right here. So this makes it a little bit more difficult because I have to take my thumb off or take my hand off to go off safety, right? And then same thing with press checking it. Mine is right here, so I can just go right here and press check. Good thing you always press check because there's no round in, right? Compress check, now there's a round in, and I know I'm hot. So, all clear for you guys. Definitely has more kick out of my gun. Like, it's shooting that right after the Beretta, I'm like, I think I'd rather shoot the Beretta. So let's check this one out. What do you think, Sam? So that's wad, right? This is going to be double aught, probably that bigger hole there, right? And then your single
might
aught.
be your other wads. You have two. So yeah.
Yeah, the wad drove out.
Either way, a properly ventilated human being.
Yeah, and I mean, I took a little bit more time to acquire the target, but as far as the follow-up shot, it wasn't super fast, but it wasn't super slow. It should be enough to do the job. If I hit somebody with that first shot, that follow-up shot shouldn't have to be very fast. You kind of want to analyze the situation a little bit too. So mine has quite a bit more recoil than the semi, obviously. I actually want to shoot the Remington and see what that recoil is like too.
So here we have the Mossberg 930, the Thunder Ranch Edition. As you can tell, this is about as tactical goober as you can get when it comes to a semi-auto shotgun. They're pretty legit. This is actually my first time ever firing the 930s. I shot the 940s, the JM Pros, which is their competition version. This is like their home defense / tactical shotgun version. A breacher muzzle device for the most commercial uses or civilian uses is not really that necessary, but hey, the guys from Thunder Ranch know what they're doing 90% of the time. So let's throw some rounds down range of the same stack, double up buck and then single up buck, and we'll see how she fires and kind of go from there.
Not used to that top safety, huh?
No, I'm not. Now, if you can see, my finger wants to run to my Remington safety, which is totally fine. It's a lot of kick, I will say for sure.
Huh.
Considerably more kick than my 870.
You got to shoot the 1301 now.
What's that?
You got to shoot the 1301 for comparison now.
For sure. I'm going to try the 1301, see how that feels. It's not bad by any means. It's more of when it comes to shotgun, it really just depends on how you shoot it. A lot of people shoot shotgun like, I'm close to 300 pounds, so standing like upright is not too bad, but a lot of people should be leaning in and getting a lot more momentum behind the gun because you get a lot more power behind it. You have a lot less recoil coming back at you because you have more power on it. Let's check it out real quick. Sure, there's a clear chamber there. So, same effective thing. It just keeps rounds in the same area. You don't have much of a spread. When people think of shotguns, they think, oh, I'm going to have a 40-foot spread at 2 feet because they've all played Call of Duty and that's how it works.
You're dog shit. Fuck you, kid.
You like dick.
Of course!
Yeah, bro, get some fucking sunlight, bro. Get some vitamin D in your system. Get some shampoo running through that hair.
It's not how it works. So a general rule of we'll have our camera guys put up the actual equation because I'm not going to spout numbers that don't make any sense at you. So I'll have Dom put that in there for you guys so you guys can see everything. But there is a ratio for it, so you can kind of count on where those rounds are going to go or where those pellets are going to go based on the distance from the target that you are. As you can see, I mean, on a human-sized target, if you're looking at my chest, that's going to be everything right here. You're talking all internal organs, lungs, heart. The guy's done. You're not getting back up from it. And then plus, if you talk about just the pure power behind these particular guns, and just the load that's going to go into that chest, that's somebody flat on their back, either real pissed or just not able to be pissed anymore. So a thing to think about, and really a thing to noodle your brain on when you're talking about home defense. I want to touch on a little bit about the light we were talking about earlier for JB. I'm not against running lights because of the fact we were just talking about it and just kind of wrapping over a little bit. This is how the conversations always work with us. Running lights work well because now you have a reason, you have the ability to acquire a target as well as what's in the target's hands. If you're running through dark rooms, you see a target, you may see a figure of a man with something in his hand. You may not know what that man has. You shoot him and he's got a banana rather than a gun. You're fucked. You're going to jail. So a thing to think about when it comes to running lights, one thing to really process. So nothing against either. I want to kind of touch on that so you guys can want to hear about it in the comments because I know I'm going to.
One other thing too. So I think the extra kick I felt was the double-aught, obviously, right? Was the double-aught. It kicked a little bit harder. It's something for people to think about also. You have a woman or a man, a person who is not used to shooting 12 gauge, but they have a 12 gauge for home defense. Getting the right load for them, that sounds bad.
Getting them loaded up right.
Getting the gun loaded up right, I guess that's a better way to put it, is important. They make low recoil stuff, things like that. As you can see, a single-aught buck birdshot is going to do the trick. If it keeps them on target better than a double-aught, I think you're going to, the risk to reward versus them coming off target and that person closing on them versus being able to stay on target and take a follow-up shot, I feel personally is a little bit more important. I think whatever load you use in your home defense, it should get the job done.
Yeah.
If you put it on target, it's going to get the job done. But your ability, the other thing is the ability to want to go out and train, or the want to go train. If you're just shooting slug all day long, there's not a lot of people that are going to run and do a lot of training. So throw some birdshot in there, throw some different loads in there to where it's not as tough for you to get the manipulation, get how to rack the shotgun, control of the gun. So it makes people want to train a little bit more versus are turned off from training just because it's brutal.
It's very similar for a lot of people when you're training, with a 22 conversion kit for your AR-15 versus a 2.23 or 5.56. You're training with something you can shoot more of without the kick of a rifle or without the cost of the round.
It's cheaper.
So
just food
it's
for
a good
thought,
training tool. So things to think about. Let's go try. We're just watching again. I think Justin's going to try my 870.
Cruiser.
And then I'll try the 1301 first, and then I'll go to the Cruiser. We'll show you a gun that's ridiculous. So I'm going to start off with the 1301 Tactical. We're going to get this one checked out. I've never shot this particular shotgun before. I'm going to load it up with a slug, see how that feels, and then I think I got double-aught after that. And we'll see how that feels. God, so many different types of safeties. Oh. All right, we got bolt lock back to the rear, and you're not getting much difference when it comes to the actual, well, a little bit of difference. So slug impacted here, and it's a ball of lead flying at close to 1,300 feet per second. So it's going to take out pretty much anything in front of it, including small vehicles like Jerry's smart car.
He does have a smart.
Poor guy. Maybe we can test. Oh, that'll be our next test. See if we can put a slug through his engine bay and see if it stops the car. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure rifles probably get you a new one.
We'll get him a whole car.
Yeah. We'll give him a real car. Same stuff. It's actually not bad when it comes to recoil. I don't have too much of a problem with recoil with shotguns, but this one actually felt pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of semi-autos. I still am not. It's a nice shotgun, but I'd take my 870 over it really any day, which is odd, but it's just kind of how I like to shoot. I like shooting guns that I know work and I know that will work every time.
I got Sam's Remington. It's a little long for me. So on the Magpul furniture, you can put plates on here to make it longer or shorter. Mine at home obviously has no plates because he's him and I'm little me.
I ordered extra plates.
So I'm going to be pretty stretched out here. Once again, sounds bad. But I wanted to feel the difference. Same load as before as far as double-aught will be second and my single-aught will be first. Just feel the difference in recoil with this butt pad also. It's a little bit squishier. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
about the same. It's about the same. All clear, on safe. Once again, with these things, it's pretty hard to miss. You gotta really try and miss. I'm not really putting that ghost ring on anything. I'm just acquiring a target, and it's just point of aim, point of impact type stuff. So, you know, I mean, it'll still rattle your teeth a little bit. It's still a pump action shotgun at 18.5 inch. But yeah, works just fine. And I press it so hard into my cheek that I feel a lot of it.
I've actually gotten to the point where I don't do that.
You don't?
No, I've actually gotten to the point where I know if I set my bead on like the top of somebody's neck, it's gonna go in their chest. And I don't gotta press my whole.
You don't have to be like way far on it. No, that makes sense.
I just know. I just know my point of aim. It's where my point of impact's gonna go, and only because like, there's no way I'm gonna really acquire target because I don't feel like blowing up their fucking target holders. Dude, it's misfire. I don't understand. Okay. This is the, I think it's Mossberg's or Maverick.
It looks
Mossberg.
so tiny.
This is Mossberg's cruiser model. If you use this for home defense, whatever, neat. All the power to you. Have the biggest balls, or whatever you want to call them, biggest everything down there. You're doing great. I will never own one of these, even as a toy, ever, for a reason. They're neat, and they're small, and they're fun if you want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger, shockingly enough. So, it's cool. This is the first time I ever shoot one of these fucking things, and I am regretting it, and there's a reason why Justin's not shooting it, because he doesn't want to. So, I have double aught buckle for my first round, and I have single aught directly after that. And I'm not stoked about it, so let's try it. And of course, it's out of a Mossberg, my favorite. I don't know how you fucking shoot this thing. Oh, God. That's all web of the hand.
Is it?
That's all.
Does it rise?
Oh, not much,
No.
but it's. Ah! Look at that. Misfire. That stamped it too. That's weird. And I'll load one more in. Okay. That one fired. I don't know why it had a misfire.
All right.
Dude, it fucking broke off my thumbnail. Ow.
Oh yeah, that hurts, dude.
Yeah. It's all web of your hand.
Yeah, I don't want any part of that. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not fun.
There's no other way to grip it to reduce that either.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. So, yeah, shoot what you will if you like. Just know I'm going to judge you if you shoot this. So, it's just a thing to think about. One thing to think about when you're buying these things. Yeah. This has been semi-autos kinda versus pump action shotguns. You know, we kind of sit on the same side of the fence on this one, which is interesting because we don't usually. But I think we're both still pro pump action. I think we have got a little bit of information about semi-autos that's pretty neat, which is like the 13-1 Tactical is pretty nice, and then the Thunder Ranch actually works really well. But I think we're probably going to keep pump actions as our home defense
For everyday gun that you wanted to go shoot, I mean, the semi-auto was good, right? The recoil was significantly less. I mean, I can definitely admit that. Rate of fire probably would be a little faster, maybe slightly. But yeah, once again, if you guys are in the local area or you want to shoot indoor, any caliber, come down here to FT3. Great people, great range. Thanks again to them for having us, and hopefully in the weeks to come.
Yeah. Please hit us up on YouTube and Instagram and talk to us, ask questions. A lot of the times, you guys may not know this, but Raul's answering the questions, but he'll always come to us and let us know what you guys are saying. So it's kind of cool to hear from you guys. Just if you have any points to talk about, if you have anything you want to see, you want to hear about, or if you think all of our talking is bullshit, please let us know. And like I said, I promise you, I'll get in there and I'll start talking shit right back, and I'm way better than you are. So can't wait to see you guys next time. We'll have something cool next time. So just tune in.
Thanks a lot, guys.